Tracking technology has proved invaluable in search and rescue operations. Project Lifesaver has adapted this tool to assist in locating individuals with cognitive disorders. The technology continues to improve. Paul Balance with the Norfolk Sheriff's Office has more on the program's successes and the latest technology it's employing. Welcome, Paul.
Glad to be here, thank you.
Project Lifesaver has been around for quite some time now. It's been a long time.
Project Lifesaver just celebrated their 17th anniversary.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
it started right here in Chesapeake, actually.
Okay, so it started in Chesapeake. The Norfolk Sheriff's Office, of course, is involved and in helping to assist citizens or families in locating people. So what exactly was it designed to do?
Well, it was actually designed to track folks. It started again in Chesapeake. We may remember, some of us that have been here a while, folks that got lost in the Dismal Swamp.
Yeah.
And it kind of began there in tracking folks that had become lost. Sheriff Bob McCabe, he adopted it about 2001 with the Norfolk Sheriff's Office, and since then, using radio frequency technology, we've been able to turn that into tracking folks that have Alzheimer's or different types of dementia, on kids with autism, anybody that's prone to wander.
Okay, which has got to be just a godsend for families who are worried about the tendency to wander.
Oh, it is. It gives them just you know, that little bit of buffer that you know, they can't let their guard down, but they know somebody has their back.
Okay, well, so how does it work, technically speaking?
Well, the client would call us if they had you know, a tendency or thought that their loved one would wander. They would call us. We would go out to them and do some paperwork and actually put the receiver, the transmitter rather, on the client.
Okay.
So again, radio frequency, that transmitter has a certain number that's assigned to that person. Mm-hmm. And if they were to wander, then the caregiver would call us.
Okay.
And we would send out our search and rescue team at the last place seen and track them from there.
Okay, we're showing a lady who's got the bracelet being applied to her, and then you show the actual receiver that's being used so you can see how this works. Is there a range as to how far you can actually track somebody?
Yeah, the transmitter that they wear here in Norfolk is about a half a mile.
Okay.
Is what we get. We have done some training in other parts of the state, and you can actually get up to a mile in some areas.
And I see that helicopters have receivers, or somebody can go up in the air and do
Right.
aerial.
Yeah, and once you break the tree planes, the exciting thing about that is from a helicopter, you can get a signal from about 7 miles away.
Okay, and we have a picture of a, it looks like a receiver, and it's in a parking lot, I believe, which is, I think, one of the newer advances in technology that is being used.
Yeah, some of the newer stuff, I mean, Project Lifesaver is kind of on the cutting edge of all the new technology.
Mm-hmm.
It has, since I've been involved with it, it has just warped into newer stuff, newer receivers, better transmitters. And now we're into the drones, so that localities can use their own equipment there too.
Okay, so, well, and it makes sense because that technology is now available. And the phone that they're showing right now, that's it says PAL on it, that has an acronym for something significant?
Yeah, that's protect and locate. That would be an individual type of, like if you had a child that was had autism,
okay,
and you wanted to just control them yourself, you could put that on the child. It's actually a working wristwatch. And then you could set up a geofence, and if you wanted to give them a 100-foot buffer in your yard or whatever, you could set it up that way, and once they went outside of that zone, then it would alert to your smartphone or to the receiver and let you know that they passed that geo zone.
So there really are, it's a variety of options that people have for being able to track someone, whether they're doing it themselves or whether they have to call somebody in to do it.
Exactly.
So children or any person on the autism spectrum, Alzheimer's certainly, because that is an increasingly larger issue among people, and anybody who may not really be, who may need to have a little more control in terms of where they go and when they go there. I'm sure it takes a load off of people who get the help. Do you have a sense of how many people have benefited from Project Lifesaver?
There's been over 3,500 searches nationwide. Actually, Project Lifesaver is international. They're in Canada and Australia.
Wow.
And there's been over 3,500 searches. All of them have been 100% successful. They have been found.
Wow.
Norfolk has led every agency in that for the last 5 years, and I'm sure we're going to do it again this year. We've had more searches than any other agency. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it.
Just more places to go, I suppose.
guess. I mean, we've had 18 searches already this year.
No kidding.
27 last year, just in Norfolk.
Do they tend to skew toward older or younger, or do you even know?
I cannot put my finger on it. We have about equal amount of folks with dementia and those on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
But you know, I really can't put my finger on one or the other as to who wanders the most.
So how can people find out a little bit more about this, and if they want to be able to take advantage of this technology? We have a phone number up on the screen, which I believe is yours. So Paul will answer the phone if you call, and then the Norfolk Sheriff's Office has a website too, and you can find something more on it. But he could probably fill you in on what is required, so there is paperwork to be done, correct?
Right, and there's really no diagnosis or anything. All that we really need to hear is that you, as a citizen, have, you know, you're afraid that your child or your loved one may wander. That's an automatic, you're in the club kind of thing for us.
Okay.
So there's really no diagnosis or anything that we need. And again, there's paperwork that's filled out. In Norfolk, there's a $10 a month fee for the service. That covers bands, batteries, and the transmitter, which is $250. There's no charge for that.
Okay.
So it's, you know, it takes about an hour to do paperwork, and then we have volunteers that come out and change the battery when it's due.
Wow.
Every 60 days, and you know, we just move on from there.
Wow. So 18 cases already. 18
Already.
searches. Okay, that's a lot, and you know, we're just in the middle of summer right now, so we have a long ways to go.
We do.
Well, thank goodness for the opportunity. I'm sure you hear a lot of amazing stories about people who are found not as far away as they thought, or a lot farther away than they thought they would be.
Yeah.
And just wonder, you know, how would it have ended differently?
Exactly.
So, you know, you may want to check into this, and Paul Valance would be happy to talk to you about what Project Lifesaver, you know, can afford you and your loved ones. This may be something you heard about years ago, but now this may be the appropriate thing for you to look into. Just depends on your circumstances.
Right.
So it's a wonderful service. Thank you for taking the time to share it.
Thank you.
And for the pictures too. I think that shows so much too. It gives people an idea of like, oh, yeah, a phone, a bracelet, I get it.
Exactly.
Seems so simple, but boy, you know, the results can be fantastic. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a moment with details about a national celebration in which Norfolk plays a vital role.